I think that bad things are going to happen to your life, and everyone watching, this is the sad truth of it. You could be a sad winner or a sad loser. So go and win every day.
So I don't remember ever having any money or anything good. I've had my ups and downs in life. You know, the path to success isn't one big straight graph on its way up.
Everyone who hears these words of mine and does them will be like a wise man who built his house on the rock. And the rain fell and the floods came and the winds blew and beat on that house, but it did not fall because it had been founded on the rock. And everyone who hears these words of mine and does not do them will be like the foolish man who built his house on the sand, and the rain fell and the floods came and the wind blew and beat against the house and it fell, and a great fall it was.
My dad dying was the hardest part for me and Andrew to go through ever. But what you have to understand with things like that is you don't actually have a choice. People say this all the time, like, how did you deal with that? It's like, well, what was my alternative? Bring him back to life? There is no way out of it. You can either, and people say this all the time, oh, my mother's got cancer, she's going to die in 6 months. What do? I say enjoy the next 6 months with her. There are lots of situations in life where your hands are tied. So with Dad dying, it was a simple matter of, okay, you can let this destroy you, which is an option, and people do this all the time, drink themselves to death, I don't know, start cutting themselves, whatever stuff people do to cope with difficult situations, or you can be sad anyway, because you're sad either way. So you can work 18 hours a day, not let anything distract you, and stay focused on the mission, so that way you have less time to think about it, and you can be sad while you're working. And then, you know, when you start to come to terms with everything, you've got millions of dollars, as opposed to, oh, I've come to terms with everything, but I'm in a rehab clinic.
But there was a year, the year when I was living in that flat in Dunstable, when I couldn't afford the electricity. That year, I think for the entire 12-month period, me and Andrew made probably less than 7 or 8 grand total. So we ran out of electricity. We put an extension wire in the hallway and ran it into the apartment to charge our phones and our computers and stuff. And you couldn't close the door because the wire was too thick. Now that me and Andrew are in a position where we can guide young men, we can give young men who perhaps don't have the guidance they need a direction in life. And we've learned the hard way from trying different things, from coming up in a very bad way. We've learned the hard way how to live as men. So nowadays when people are reprimanding me because when I was 25, I started a webcam studio, and everyone's saying, oh, well, you know, you shouldn't have done that. Well, look, I was a 24-year-old with no money, struggling to pay the bills, who found a completely legal way to run business, as though when I was 25, I was telling everyone in the world, look, young men, everyone needs to be like me. I can show you the way. But that wasn't my message back then. I was a man trying to put bread on the table and trying to make money. It's one of the reasons that me and Andrew always preach about, you know, financial success and making money and all the things that we always talk about, because we understand that as ugly as it is, I guess, that the world revolves around money in such a way. It's not just the world, it's your relationships, your marriages, your family, the dynamic you have with your kids. It all revolves around money in one way or another, because it can make things a lot better, and money can also make things a lot worse. But being broke is harder than being rich. And I couldn't do fun things, and I couldn't go to nice bars or nice clubs. The fact that I was a kickboxer got a lot of attention. I could beat another man up. Sure, I was broke, but girls liked that. I always had pretty girlfriends. So what are you doing right now? If you're just a normal guy with a normal job, doing nothing, you don't produce any content, you're not talented, you can't do gymnastics or play the guitar, do something. Every dude on earth, and you're just another one of them. Unless you make yourself different in some way, you will never get scouted out.
I don't think I found my purpose in life until I was 32. So I feel like my purpose in life now is to set a good example for young men in a world that doesn't have any good examples. I don't think everyone is going to reach that level of enlightenment with their mission. And I don't think everyone should, because when I was 28, when I was 29, I was very happy. I was perfectly happy, having not found what my purpose in life is. And you know what? I may think I know my purpose in life now. When I'm 40, I may realize it was actually something else and find something else. No, I don't believe life has to be a purpose. I just believe in making sure that you are happy and making sure that that happiness is spread as much as possible to the people you interact with and the people around you. That is a way to live a fulfilling life. You don't have to have a mission to live a fulfilling life or a purpose. You could live, you know, basically by yourself your whole life. But if you really enjoy enjoy yourself and you really enjoy this trip around the sun that we're all taking, and everywhere you go, you're polite and you're nice and you're kind, who cares that you didn't impact the world, you know?
People will always talk shit, and people will always hate on you for doing well in life. But yeah, if you're a young man and you've closed your first big deal and you have your first bit of money and there's a car you want, maybe it's a BMW, maybe it's a Mercedes, I would say, with all the financial advisors and business nerds on Twitter who will tell me not to say this, I would say go out and buy that car. And then that car will increase your image, and then continue working, continue grinding, and then buy more cars. I used to lie and say you never have more than 5 friends your whole life. And that was a lie. Because what you have to understand is you're walking through the world hoping to meet these friends by random. By random chance, you're going to run into a guy with the same values as the same mission as you, the same mindset as you, the same goals as you, who's aligned in every way. You're not going to meet those people walking through the world. But I now have at least 30 real friends, 35 real friends, who I call my real friends. Before I was 28, I certainly had more hard times than good times.
Absolutely.
But the last few years have been exceptionally easy. Even this one, where they send me to jail, it's fine. Justice has to be done, and God is going to make sure justice gets done. I'm going to make sure justice gets done. And even if they drop the case tomorrow, that's not justice. What, 15 months of my life, 3 months in jail, this many months on house arrest, the amount of money I've lost, my reputational damage. If they drop the case tomorrow, is that justice?
I'd be more mad if I didn't go to prison with him. I'd feel like, I've taken all the good from being associated with Andrew, and, he builds me up and I build him up. And for him to be sitting in jail without me, it would just feel wrong. So I'm not even mad about it. I'm the opposite of mad about it. I'm glad they roped me in with it. I'm glad they said guilty by association. I'm glad they throw me in jail with him. And if they frame him for real and send him back, they better send me back too, or I'll break myself in. If you're gonna walk around the world running your mouth all the time about what you are and what you think you are, eventually something's gonna come along in the world and test you. If you walk around saying I'm the baddest man on the planet, I can beat anyone up on earth. One day someone in the street is gonna be like, you're the guy who thinks he can beat anyone up, and punch your lights out. I don't speak as much as Andrew, but I do say I'm a very strong-minded person. I always preach to young men, if you're going through hardships, you need to deal with it like a man, continue your training, stay focused. And it just felt like God gave me an opportunity to prove to myself, above all else, as well as to everyone else who listens to me, that I am actually what I say I am. So coming out of jail, I'm almost grateful for the experience, as hellish as the environment was.
So I don't want to change anything about my current situation. So if I could go back in time and change anything in my past, I wouldn't. I'm very happy where I am.